Good day, everybody. Welcome to 2024. We wish you well. From all of us at the Discover Talent at Vico.net. We thought that we should reflect on our first 7 episodes that we have done. Thank you for viewing them. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your participation. We appreciate that. There are some emerging themes that we've picked up in the first 7 episodes that we have shot so far. And we thought it's a good time to just reflect on 3-4 points of those. And we've seen great talent so far, and we're still going to showcase great talent moving forward. But what is clear is that talent alone may not be sufficient. The talent that we have seen so far, one of the observations has been the attributes behind them, their character. What is clear is that in addition to their respective gifts, they have a lot of courage, they have a lot of empathy, they have a lot of flexibility, adaptability. They are resilient, they persevere. Now, these, amongst others, are important attributes to one's personal toolkit in order to break through and work through different phases of one's journey in whatever that you are doing. Put simply, it's also about the management of change. So regardless of your background, whether you're coming from a township background, whether you're coming from humble beginnings and so forth, or even a privileged background, the reality is that if you do not have something in your toolkit, talent alone may not get you there. I reflect on Kagisho Reid. Think about it. He had to learn for a year a Russian language. He then proceeded to spend 3 years in Russia studying nuclear medicine in a Russian language, in temperatures at times would get up to minus 40 degrees. Now, that is adaptability, that is flexibility, that is courage, that is resilient. Yeah? So it's quite clear, just using him as an example, that one has to augment all of these attributes. And it doesn't stop there. I think as one progresses in one's career, you would need to keep developing those as you go along. The second observation was the side hustle. We kind of positioned it in a light-hearted way in terms of, what are you doing? But it's actually something that light-hearted, but in today's times, one could argue that it's a necessity as well to follow one's passion, but also for others. It is for economic reasons to augment one's earnings as we look at the dynamics in the labor market, challenges that we have from an income earning perspective. One job may not be enough, but for others do it because it's a hobby, it's their contribution to society, they're volunteering their time, and so on. So side hustles are here to stay. And what we picked up is that from our guests that we saw up to now, almost all are gainfully employed. But without fail, they all have a side hustle. Whether they are public speaking, whether they are motivational speakers, whether they are volunteering their time to good causes in the community, to their schools, to advance what they've learned up to now in different societal groupings and so forth. And others are actually even during weekends or outside of office hours doing meaningful work that generates additional income. So side hustles are there. They're here to stay. What we wanted to touch on in this respect is, as you side hustle, for those that are gainfully employed, please read the fine print in your employment contract or your respective company policy. Sometimes they call it moonlighting. Yeah. This is when you have moonlighting is effectively your secondary job, for lack of better term, where 8 to 5, let's call it your primary job. And then outside of that, you are involved in other work activities. Now, you may find that in the fine print of your employment contract or your respective company policy, you needed to disclose that, you needed to declare that to your employer, and they needed to contribute to that final decision if you may proceed or not. Now here, there is a recent labor court case in South Africa that involved the University of Witwatersrand, WITS, whereby WITS as the employer was in dispute with an employee, and at the center of it was that the employee did not ask for permission or did not declare their side hustle, and they were effectively moonlighting. Safe to say that WITS won this case. Why? Because it was a policy issue, it was an employment contract issue. Now, this, one would imagine, in today's times, it's safe to say that employees could feel that their respective rights are being infringed upon. They need to augment their earnings, as I said earlier. They need to pursue other interests. It could be a retention issue. They're changing labor force dynamics and so forth. But equally, employers could feel that, look, we need to protect our interests as well, be it from a conflict of interest perspective, be it from a health and safety perspective, etc., etc. So watch this space. All what we're asking for is that there's nothing wrong with side hustling. Just make sure that you do it with consent if you are gainfully employed, so that you don't get yourself in trouble. The other observation and discussion point we've been having that we're passionate about, certainly at Discover Talent, is the whole issue of unemployment. It is a pandemic, it is a crisis. Certainly in these parts that we are located, in South Africa, but I would like to believe in Sub-Saharan Africa as well. Now, insights that our guests have shared is that don't lose hope while you are on the unemployment queue. Do something. Yeah. Some of the tips that they have shared is develop other skills whilst you are searching for something. Searching for something could be an entrepreneurship opportunity, could be formal employment, could be other types of earning opportunities. But do something, keep it simple, volunteer your time. As Thabo Masilela put it, don't give up. He applied no less than 90 times, went to 15 interviews, got regretted many times. But eventually he got a breakthrough. He's now employed at a top financial institution as a liquidity risk analyst. So don't give up. That's the key message that is there. And remember to keep those attributes that you've been practicing all along, of being patient, resilient, being courageous, explore, and so forth. Keep that toolkit. Whilst you're still searching for opportunities, it's going to come in handy as well. So remember that for those that are still in the employment queue. And keep yourself busy. By that, we don't mean crime. Crime doesn't pay. As Sibonga Konke Dlamini said it, if you are not earning, make sure you are learning. Think about that and take that to heart. We want to challenge organizations as well, because Bonita Sadi took us to an interesting space and reminded us in a research that she did that at least 75%, according to her research that she did, 75% of graduates felt that they were not work ready. At the same time, employers were equally disappointed that graduates that they take in are struggling to apply their knowledge. So all round, it feels like disaster. It feels like we are developing graduates with eventually what looks like meaningless qualifications that cannot be applied. That equally brings the opportunity of experiential learning. So the corporate sector or employers at large, be it small, medium, large enterprises, it really does not matter. We have to find a way where we work with learning institutions. Both parties have to come to the table and say, how do we bridge this gap? In-service training, experiential learning, internships, all of that are routes that we need to accelerate and really expand them across different industries. There are those fields that tend to do this very well, be it interns in the medical fraternity, perhaps engineering, perhaps the legal fraternity. But all others, it's a catch-up. At some point, the graduates needs to be empowered with skills and apply them. But it won't fall out of the sky. It will require all stakeholders to invest something in this journey and have deliberate interventions in this regard. But it means that we have to rethink the whole system of how we bring and transition those that come out of higher learning into the world of work so that they can add value into this economy. In the end, Bill Seota, I think, also provoked us when he said, don't be afraid to put your name out there if you are unemployed or still looking for opportunities out there. Put yourself out there. Do it for free. I don't think he meant that do it for free forever. But the spirit of what he was saying is that market yourself, tease others and show them the value you can bring, the contributions you can make in their space. And it will soon turn around into a valuable opportunity. It's a mindset shift. It's not one or the other. I think we are at a stage where we need to explore different things for different scenarios. The other scenario that we looked at, and that was interesting insights, was the value that you bring to what you are doing. But also holistically, what is it that you should continue to develop? Notwithstanding that we saw great talent, and we're still going to see great talent moving forward. In addition to those postgrads, those masters, those doctorates, and so forth, what was also coming out was, what are those in your toolkit that you are building? Remember, it's a lifetime career toolkit, also life skills that you are building. What is clear is that you'll be working with people. So people skills becomes important. Your humility, your empathy, your ability to storytell. Developing those becomes important. Why? Because you'll be working with customers, with suppliers, with leadership, with fellow workers, and so forth. So you are not alone. It's important that you augment your technical skills and technical studies. Problem solving as well becomes to the fore. What's the point of having all of those wonderful qualifications if they are not helping you to problem solve and advance whatever you are doing in your own sphere? Change management, it goes without saying. Your ability to continuously be faced with different scenarios and adapt to them is going to become important. And equally project management, because all of these smaller bits, and we're not talking project management in the sense that we're trying to build a big power station and so forth. However, the principles of it become important. How to plan, be it a budget, be it resources, be it to the risks along the way, how to review, when am I finishing, and so forth. Because everything that we do, we break it down into smaller packages along the way. So learning the principles of project management and integrating them in everything that we do becomes critical. So in addition to what you're currently doing, change management, project management, problem solving, people skills become important to enhance your toolkit and for you to stand out when in a highly competitive global village. One would need all of these different things over a period of time, in addition to your love of maths and science. So what is also in abundance is that each of our guests so far and those that will be before you in future episodes, I think you will discover their love for maths and science. So taking on those STEM-related subjects at high school becomes critical because they will carry you into higher learning education. And these are future careers that are important. It's not to say others are not, but the reality is that these are future careers and critical skills that we need to develop more and more. And as we've discovered so far as well, there are fantastic opportunities out there. I think our Department of Higher Education and Training is doing a very good job with their scholarships. There might be private scholarships out there. So for those that don't have the means, don't give up. Just keep searching for these opportunities, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised what lies out there. As so far, we've featured a few guests that come from humble beginnings, but they were being sponsored to explore this world in a way that we never imagined. Remember, so far, our 7 guests have traveled to Kenya, to the US, to the UK, Hungary, Mauritius, Russia, and obviously here locally as well. So it's unbelievable. The opportunities are there. Traveling is part of learning as well, on how others do things, how others approach certain things. So we encourage those that have these opportunities before them to have the courage to take them up, and the resilience to complete their respective journeys. So go for it. In the end, this is just the beginning. We are excited here at Discover Talent at Vico.net to be discovering the talent. Visit our website, follow our handles in terms of how you can load your profile. Every guest that we feature forms part of our rich talent pool that we have. and we hope that you are enjoying the journey so far. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for following us. Thank you for viewing us. Thank you for your comments. We appreciate those, and we encourage you to subscribe to Discover Talent at Vico.net. Thank you.